Good afternoon. It's Sunday, 12th of April 2020, and the time is 16:25 or so, almost 4:30 in the afternoon, and I'm about to make my immunity booster juice. Here I have some of the ingredients. There are 3 ingredients in this bowl. There's the rind and skin of honeydew melon. There's pineapple skin and some flesh of pineapple, and there's rind and skin of red watermelon here. Here I have half celery, which I've cut up. I normally use 2 stalks of celery in my immunity booster juices, but I had only 2 stalks left before I made my soup, and I used half a stalk for my soup, so I had 1.5 stalks left. So what I decided was to use 1 stalk and keep the other half for tomorrow. I just don't want to be run out and have completely nothing in my fridge. Also, what I found in my fridge is a cucumber, which on its last leg, so I'm going to trim the bad bits off and use this cucumber, as well as half a curry here. I have 2 green chili basar, or green serrano chili, which I'm going to put in together with the seeds, so we'll see whether it packs a wallop. I'm sure this juice will have some oomph, and because of that I'm adding 1 lime together with the skin. I've de-seeded and threw the core away, but this is 1 lime with the skin here, and I have 1 lemon here. So I've halved it and removed the seeds, so I have 1 whole lemon, so I'm going to juice this as well as this piece of white cabbage. And then I have 3 tomatoes here, as well as okay, I have 4.5 carrots. This half of a carrot, I've used the other bit for my soup earlier. I diced it for my soup. And these other 2 carrots are really tiny, so maybe they count as just 1 carrot. So it's like 3.5 carrots here. Okay, so all this are going to go into my juice together with these pieces of ginger. I've got 2 pieces of ginger here. This small piece, I grated half of it to put into my soup. So I've added another piece here. It's quite a substantial piece, as well as 2 pieces of turmeric. So these turmerics, you know, they're on their last legs. In fact, this one is beginning to sprout by the looks of it. So anyway, because of that, I'm going to use both of them, and to counter them, I've used 1 whole lemon, as well as a rather large amount of ginger. Okay, so I have quite a lot of stuff here to juice, so probably make about 1.6 liters or so. So I'll give you the verdict a little later. Right, I've made 2.4 liters altogether. I've just drunk 400 ml and poured another 400 in here, so I have 1.6 liters in here. This is a 2-liter jug. In fact, the usual jug that came with my the usual jugs that I use, the ones that came with my Kuvings machines, were too small today, so I had to use this 2-liter jug. So it was full, and then the balance went in here. So I've already added the black pepper, some balsamic vinegar, black balsamic vinegar, and Lee and Perrins, and I can tell you this juice is excellent. So it has lots of turmeric. As you can see, I had 2 pieces of turmeric in there, quite a substantial piece of ginger. Both turmeric and ginger have polyphenols. In fact, turmeric alone has 1,000 polyphenols in them, and only one of which is curcumin. And in any case, to increase the body's ability to absorb the curcumin, I've added the black pepper. So the taste is nice. It's well balanced. It's a vegetable and fruit juice. Okay, there is some fruit. There's lemon, pineapple, watermelon, honeydew melon. But honeydew and watermelon, mostly the skin and rind, and as well as the pineapple. 1 whole key lime, and 1 whole what do you call it, lemon, both de-seeded, of course. And cabbage taste is in the background. It's not there, not noticeable as well. Cabbage is there because of the sulforaphane, which is good for you, except that cabbage juice on its own tastes pretty disgusting. So when you mix it up into vegetable and fruit juice like this, it's very palatable. In fact, this juice also is what do you call it, a waste-saving juice, because the pineapple, honeydew, and watermelon were used in my fruit salad this morning, and instead of throwing the rind and skin away, I juice them and add it with the other vegetables. The 3 carrots and the 3 tomatoes, the 4 carrots and the 3 tomatoes are the one that give the red color. It gives you some lycopene, beta carotene, and other good stuff. So this is my juice for today. I think I can drink 1 or 2 more glasses, and I'll save the rest for later. So this is it, my juice for Sunday, 12th of April 2020, and the time is about 5 or so to 5 o'clock. And see you next time. See ya, bye. Oh, take care, stay at home. There are lots of people dying, lots of new cases still, almost 200, 100 plus, 184 I think yesterday. So, it's not the time to get complacent. Just stay at home, don't meet people, and you'll be all right, okay? And this herd mentality thing is nonsense, because people who have recovered from COVID-19 as early as 2 months ago, Chinese experts have shown that they have been reinfected, okay? So there's no guarantee that you'll have immunity once you have COVID-19. Doesn't mean that once you get it and you've recovered, you're cabal or immune for life. You can get it again. So this concept of having herd immunity is nonsense. And if you compare New Zealand against the UK, the statistics are frightening. I think New Zealand has only had 4 deaths or so, and just like 1,000 over cases, whereas in the UK, I think by now they've got more cases than China ever did, 80,000 over cases, and about almost 10,000 deaths. So there's no such thing as herd immunity. The best way is not to get the infection in the first place. We are not even buying time for the vaccine. Vaccine will take a year or 18 months, even if it's possible. But if you can get reinfected, it looks like what do you call it? A vaccine is just vaporware. So for the time being, it's best not to meet people. Reduce your risk exposure, don't get infected, and at the same time boost your immunity through nutrition, so that whatever infection you do get, your immunity can fight it. I have to tell you something about germ theory. There are germs everywhere, there are pathogens everywhere. Pathogens are things like viruses, bacteria, parasites, amoeba, whatever that controls you an illness is a pathogen. So your body is constantly exposed throughout your whole life to pathogens. There's a war going on. It's a lifelong war, and each infection is a battle. So you develop symptoms and become ill when you're losing that particular battle. Your immunity isn't able to whack the pathogen, and the pathogen has the upper hand, and then you develop symptoms and you become ill. When you're disease free, when you're not ill, doesn't mean there are no pathogens or you're pathogen free. It just means that your immunity is able to whack whatever pathogens, or the pathogens are so little that they're not causing much trouble. But this guerrilla warfare is always going on. It's a war that's a lifelong war. Okay, so it's always important every day to keep your immunity optimized. You can do that by taking lots of antioxidants. Things like ascorbic acid is a very powerful antioxidant. That's vitamin C. And polyphenols. Polyphenols are another class of antioxidants. So what are the soldiers in your body to fight the battle for you? Are your white blood cells. So whatever you can do to boost your white blood cells to reduce your oxidative stress would be helpful for you. Okay, so that you can reduce your chances of getting any underlying comorbidities. It's the people with comorbidities that have died. You know, they either have hypertension or diabetes or cardiovascular disease or autoimmune disease, things like lupus, AIDS, or even renal failure, or even if you have cirrhosis of the liver or cancer. Lots of cancer patients have died because they have low immunity. They are what in the medical world they call immunocompromised. So please don't compromise yourself. Instead, you should optimize your immunity. Okay, so that's my advice for today, 12th of April, Sunday, 2020.